Hello, my name is Drew Lapre, and today I'm going to talk about the history of US imperialism. Imperialism in general is a term used when a nation desires to extend its power. A nation does this by acquiring new lands through various methods, such as purchase, diplomacy, or war. American imperialism is a policy that describes America's government's aims to extend political, economic, and cultural control beyond already established boundaries. The idea that America needed to expand its territory became supported in the middle of the 19th century, when the doctrine of Manifest Destiny was published by John L. O'Sullivan. Manifest Destiny was a belief that the people of the United States were destined to move across North America and control all the land. This doctrine helped urge American leaders to annex Texas in 1845 and waged the Mexican-American War of 1846, in which the United States annexed much of the Mexican land. While the American government cannot be blamed for wanting to expand its territory, it is at fault for the way that it did so. When diplomatic methods failed with Mexico, America relied on war, and only won at a very large price. The Army lost 13,780 personnel, and the war was one of the bloodiest wars in America's history. In this situation, America did not have respect for Mexico's borders, and instead of settling with Mexico, the country waged a very costly war. Even after the acquisition of Mexican lands, the idea of manifest destiny did not fade. Americans always believed that they were far superior than other people and that their ways of living were the correct ways. Society in America was regarded as intact and wealthy, but Americans felt that other places were in chaos, whether they were or not. Hawaii is a great example of this. In the late 1800s, when Americans looked to seize more territory, they went to Hawaii. Hawaii, an island in the Pacific, had their own form of government, a monarchy. Society in Hawaii was structured and peaceful. However, Americans felt the need to disrupt that. In 1893, American businessmen decided to overthrow Queen Lulukalani and establish their own form of government. Although these actions were quite illegal, the state of Hawaii remained in American control and later was annexed by President McKinley in 1898. Also in 1898, U.S. troops invaded Puerto Rico. The goal of America here was to establish control on overseas territories. As other nations expanded their overseas control with their navy, America wanted to do the same. The United States invaded Puerto Rico, along with the Philippines, Guam, and Cuba, and this became known as the Spanish-American War. After its defeat in the Spanish-American War of 1898, Spain ceded the colonies of the Philippines, Guam, and Puerto Rico to the United States. Although Cuba remained independent, America was allowed to assert some control over the country and built bases on their land. In 1899, Filipino nationalists revolted against American forces. The Philippine-American War followed, which lasted 3 years. While only 4,200 Americans died, over 20,000 Filipino lives were taken in war, and as many as 200,000 innocent Filipino civilians died from the effects. The United States was never labeled an empire, but the acts that it committed to gain more territory were defining. A country that was determined to gain more land when it did not necessarily need any more only sends a negative message. The facts and numbers are clear, and whether it is proven or not, there is much evidence supporting the idea that America committed terrorist acts against the territories they sought out. Other than America's greed for more land and resources, there were no pressing reasons for the United States to wage war. The American military killed an insane amount of people and stole land from the innocent without proper reason. Not only was this imperialistic idealism unwarranted, it was unethical. The wealth and resources that America possesses now only comes from the atrocities committed in the past. This is all that I have to say on US imperialism. Thank you for listening to my lecture. I hope you enjoyed the information presented.